Ladies and gentlemen, it's Hot Legs, straight from the Wine Exchange, with wine expert Kyle Meyer.
Hi, welcome back to Hot Legs. I'm Kyle Meyer, wine buyer for Wine Exchange and WineX.com, and today we're going to kind of step into the comfort zone a little bit, right? Instead of hitting you with a bunch of weirdo wines this way, that way, Hungarian, Keck Francos and that sort of thing, we're going to keep it fastball down the middle of the plate today and focus on some of the best California Cabernets out there for the money right now. I've chosen 3 wines for today, 3 wines that I think represent excellent value in today's overinflated pricing that we see from Napa Valley. I didn't say that, did I? Anyway, let's start from the top, huh? The first wine I want to show you today is a wine by the name of Caravina. And Caravina, though it means deer vine, loosely translated, is the second label from Bill Seavey's Seavey Vineyard, which has received a lot of love recently from the wine press and is considered one of the top boutique wines in Napa. His flagship wine sells for closer to $100 a bottle approximately, but this junior version of Seavey from the same vineyards and made pretty much the same way is available for just a small part of that price and represents excellent value as far as Napa Valley Cabernet goes. Today's theme was an accidental theme. As I was choosing the wines, I found out they're all from the same vintage, all from Hillside Vineyards. And I thought to myself, well, Hillsides make good wine, so maybe it's just more than a coincidence that it worked out this way. But Bill Seavey's vineyard, which he purchased back in the early 90s, was one of the earliest hillside vineyard plantings. It was planted as early as the 1870s. And over the last 15 years, he's rejuvenated the vineyard and put all the right clones in, did everything right in the vineyard. And also, it didn't hurt that he hired one of the greatest winemakers on the planet, Philippe Melka, to make the wine. Philippe Melka is winemaker for a slew of super hot micro boutique, mainly the Stoney style wineries, and we're really fortunate to get a few wines from Philippe here in the store, this one in particular. Here's a Philippe Melka signature. Sweet, creamy black cherries. The wine almost invites you in for a drink. Little spice. I like the spice component here. More like cinnamon, baking spices. Sometimes hillside fruit can be a little tannic. Well, this wine does have a lick of tannins. The tannins are soft, ripe, plump, engaging, round. They melt immediately on the palate, and they just leave you with that long, lingering fruit finish that Melka's so known for. He's French, and the wines kind of taste French. California fruit, but with a French feel on the palate. Best of both worlds. Dynamite. Next on the list, Chapelet. Chapelet's been around a while. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen a bottle of Chapelet somewhere on a wine list or in a bottle shop. They've been growing and producing wine since 1967. The key with Chapelet is they're a bit ahead of their time for a while. They picked a certain plot of land that a lot of people thought maybe they were crazy for choosing. And eventually the rest of the Napa Valley caught up to them, kind of like the Napa version of urban sprawl, except they just happened to be out in Bel Air before anybody knew it was Bel Air, if you catch my drift. This is from Pritchard Hill, very special vineyard site in the eastern part of the Napa Valley, also hillside. They own about 100 acres, and their winemaker, Philip Titus, to me is one of the best winemakers in Napa. I really like what's happened here the last 5 or 6 years. Phil's been able to kind of do his own thing in the winery, and the wine's gone away from perhaps a little leaner, leafier, underripe style, and now it's much more friendly and open, but it doesn't sacrifice that yummy, not quite peppery, spicy again, not as many baking spices, a little more of a sauvage character finding its way into the wine, a little more kind of, smoked meat character almost in the nose. Gorgeous wood. The wood's perfectly in tune with the wine. The wine is not over-oaked. Balance. These wines used to be a lot more tannic and much higher in acid. The acids have dropped out a bit, and the tannins are much more refined. Wine sits perfectly on the palate. All this, curranty, cassis, black cherry fruit, a little bit of raspberry. They don't call it King Cab for nothing. Cabernet can be really good. Problem is sometimes you pay too much for it. Well, I try not to. Classic, old school Napa Valley name, making the best wines they ever made, and smoking a lot of the competition for the same price. Sometimes you have to look backwards to find the best stuff, eh? Next, Mark Neal's wine. Mark Neal, to me, is a godsend. I mean, this cat started his life as a vineyard manager. His father owned Jack Neal & Son Vineyard Management Company, which he founded in the 60s. And it kind of gave Mark perspective. Mark gained great appreciation for the top vineyards in the Napa Valley, how the fruit was grown, how it was treated, how it was cared for. Not only that, but over the course of 30 years, he's found out where the best vineyards are. And slowly over that time, he's purchased a few of these vineyards and has established long-term contracts with some of these same growers that he works so diligently with. Once again, all hillside vineyards here. That theme again. Once again, 2004. A great vintage in Napa. Well, great. Okay, 97, great year. This is a really, really, really good year up in Napa. And I like the style of the wines. The wines are not overwrought. So Mark Neal's wine comes mostly from mountain appellations. He works mostly in Howell Mountain, Mount Veeder, Atlas Peak, because mountain fruit with that longer hang time grants the wine greater ripeness, and the grapes are more thoroughly ripe, what the folks in the know call physiological ripeness, where you get those brown seeds and brown stems. So even though a wine maybe has 60% alcohol, it can be underripe, and the mountain fruit tends to work the other way there. You get full ripeness from this fruit. Without further ado, Mark Neal's 2004 Cab. Primarily Howell Mountain. He's up on Howell Mountain, and he likes Howell Mountain a lot. I like Howell Mountain a lot. I think the Howell Mountain wines have a lot of character and perhaps the most complexity of any area within Napa, although I'll be getting some hate mails from Spring Mountain and Mount Veeder and Diamond Mountain, but sorry, I like Howell Mountain. It's good. And that's why I like Howell Mountain. A distinct peppery, minerally character finds its way into the wine. In Bordeaux, they call it a Gravesy character, that the stony mineral note that you can really latch onto, and provides another dimension to all that classic Cabernet fruit that, all these wines have, but Howell has that, kicks it up a notch, you know what I mean? Has that another level to it. And as the theme with the other two wines, oh, there they are. Surprisingly refined for Howell Mountain. Howell Mountain can be a bit bracing when it's young. Some of the old Dunn wines and Lahota wines, some of you folks may remember, really chewy, really hard, tannic, takes years to come around, the 79, still not ready yet. And Mark has found a way, along with winemaker Gove Celio, who's a great winemaker, has found a way to curb those 10 usually ferocious mountain tannins and create a wine that's still supple yet structured. And it is tannic. It's more tannic than either two of these wines, but I love it. It's going to do great in the cellar. One of the reasons I said earlier Mark Neal is a godsend, and it's because his pricing is remarkably fair. I mean, as is these other folks' wines. But seeing as this is his premier wine, his flagship, his main go-to, on the shelf at $45, vis-a-vis what he could charge for wine of this caliber, how it's made, the quantities it's made in. He's taking it easy on us, folks, really. $45 is not a crazy price to pay for this wine. So there you have it. 3 knockout Cabernets, south of $50. They're not on the mailing list. You don't have to buy Chardonnay to get them. You don't have to jump through any hoops. You can walk into a few good bottle shops around the country and potentially secure a bottle or two of these treasures. Kind of like the dodo bird. These wines are almost extinct based on what's happening in Napa right now, and it's a real treat to see them when they do come around. Thanks.